The situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo is deteriorating sharply, resulting in serious human rights violations and abuses such as summary executions, including of children, and conflict-related sexual and gender-based violence. There have also been attacks on hospitals and humanitarian warehouses, as well as threats against the judiciary. The Rwanda-backed M23 advance to South Kivu has plunged the region into a complex security and humanitarian crisis, provoking population displacement. Our office has confirmed cases of summary execution of children by M23 after they entered the city of Bukavu last week. We're also aware that children were in possession of weapons. We call on Rwanda and M23 to ensure that human rights and international humanitarian law are respected. We're also documenting cases of ill treatment, conflict-related sexual and gender-based violence, child and forced recruitment, intimidation, and death threats. Additionally, we have received information about arbitrary arrests and detentions, degrading treatment, and alleged forced returns of Congolese young men fleeing violence in neighboring countries. Following the prison break from Kabare and Bukavu central prisons on the 14th of February, we've received protection requests from victims and witnesses. They fear retaliation from escapees given their active participation in the trials against some of these prisoners who were convicted of grave human rights violations and abuses, some of which amount to international crimes. We also have concerns for the safety of lawyers and other judicial staff. We've received reports that journalists, human rights defenders, and members of civil society organizations have been threatened and forced to leave the area. Others are still stuck in Bukavu and in Goma and have expressed fears for their safety due to their active engagement for human rights and their denunciation of violations and abuses committed by Rwanda and the M23 in various territories of the eastern DRC. The UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk calls on Rwanda and the M23 to protect all individuals in territories under their control. He expresses his horror at the events unfolding in South and North Kivu and the impact that this is having on civilians. The violence must stop immediately. All parties must respect international humanitarian law, in particular regarding the protection of civilians and human rights law. They must resume dialogue within the framework of the Luanda and Nairobi processes. The risks of this spilling over into an even deeper and wider conflict are frighteningly real and will have even more devastating consequences on civilians.
Operation Sim Sim is an unprecedented report by the first Western TV team to investigate the intolerable abuse of Ugandan women and men through rapes by the NRA. For a long time, the NRA government has been killing political opponents by deploying HIV-positive soldiers to rape them. It is the only government which is actively involved in the intentional spread of AIDS at a time when the entire world is struggling to stem the spread of this deadly disease.